Hey there, Sart here. So we've got two different crown battles going on this week. We've got the Souls United, which is the battle to get the silver crowns for Knights of Grandshelt. And then we've got the other crown battle, which is for the silver crowns for Yish. I'm going to start with Souls United, which is the one for Knights of Grandshelt, and you're going up against Dark Rain, who is a demon human, mainly uses magic attacks, so we'll bring a magic tank. Fire and dark resistance are important, and it does do he does do a couple of fixed attacks, that Blazing Dominion and Tyrannical Force, which are fixed attacks, which unfortunately we have to sort of account for with our party, because there's not an easy way to get around that. You know, you can build your team for high bulk with mitigations, and and or guts to sort of avoid those. But the strategy I'm going to use is going to get this done on turn 3, so we really can kind of ignore a lot of that stuff. Now, I will say that the best thing to do is the first 3 stages are really, really easy. You can kill them on the first turn, certainly the first 2 levels. And once you've done those first 2 levels, go claim the silver crowns from your mailbox, and go ahead and upgrade your, if you have a Knights of Grandshelt, go ahead and upgrade your Knights of Grandshelt's abilities in his Brave Shift form to go ahead and give him, because he gets 2 basically, and I'm going to show you real quick. So there are 2 that get upgraded. In his normal form, there's this one, which takes 2 crowns, gives him the static attack, upgrades his LB. We honestly don't care about that one, because who cares about his normal form, right? It's not that powerful. You don't really care that much about the normal form. It's his Brave Shift form that you want, and it only takes 2 crowns. All right, and so 2 crowns gets you 2,000 static attack, and it upgrades his LB. Now, it doesn't really upgrade his LB all that much because he already got a global buff, but it's better than nothing, and you want to go ahead and upgrade that before you try and take on level 4, okay? They also gave Knights of Grandshelt a leader skill. As you can see, I have set him as the leader. It's only 100% attack and mag, but, you know, that is better than nothing. I also want to let you know that if you do have a Flaring Ether Rain, he does count as an Anniversary JP tagged unit. You can bring your Flaring Ether Rain, and I'll actually do another clear after this one, showing you just showing you how that works with a Flaring Ether Rain if you happen to pull him, okay? But I'm going to do this one without it. I'm going to assume you don't have a Flaring Ether Rain. This clear does assume that you have a Knights of Grandshelt. It assumes your Knights of Grandshelt is at the very least EX plus 2. I think an EX plus 2 should be able to handle this one just fine. All right. It does also assume that you have your EX3 free Reagan, which you should have. Everybody should have that, right? Okay. This strategy does also assume that you have a Fina the Return. However, I'm going to use her like an EX. You could have an EX0 Fina the Return, and that'll be fine. We're not even going to make it to turn 4, so I'm not going to use her SLB. I'm just going to use her regular LB on turn 3. And then Reagan, he can also be EX0. So the way that we're going to use him, he can be used as an EX0 Reagan, and neither one of them are here like doing any damage or anything special. So an EX0 Fina or an EX0 Reagan will be just fine here, and you can use this strategy that way. And then of course we've got Charlotte again, just like the last crown battle. She's going to be our tank because she's the only JP Anniversary tagged tank really that we have. So yep, she's coming back again. We'll take a quick look at the gear before we get in here. All right, so some basic gear. The idea is you want somebody to be an evade provoke unit, because the boss will do some very strong single target physical attacks. You want to provoke those and have that unit be evasion, and you don't want that unit to be Charlotte. Okay, so I've made my Fina a provoke unit. If you don't have Dancer's Diadem, you know, use Moogle Charms, use whatever you have to make her an evade provoke unit. All right. just for simplicity's sake, I gave her dancers, some colorful lays, made sure she's 100% evade. Also gave her a couple of Bahamut synergies, because we want to make sure our Esper gauge is full on turn 1, so that she can summon Bahamut for the light amp field. Yeah, this is... Yeah, I didn't even give her a vision card. I did give her a form of guts. I don't think it's going to be necessary with this strategy. That was previously when I was just kind of working out how this trial worked, and I needed guts to get through some attacks. But now I think I figured it out that we don't need that. Okay. Reagan just has a light elemental weapon. However, that was for previous strategy. Don't really need that. You could make Reagan your evade provoke unit if you wanted to, whichever one you want to do. If you want it to be Fina, if you want it to be Reagan, whatever is easier for you. He does have a bit of fire and dark resist there, and a couple of Bahamut synergies again to help fill up the Esper gauge. You can honestly put another one in place of Calamity Border. I just had Calamity Border on there for a previous strategy where I needed some elemental buffs, but I don't need those anymore. Knights of Grandshelt only have to worry about gearing his Brave Shift form. And honestly, this is all pretty overkill. All this Clash of Wills gear that you see here is pretty overkill. I don't think you're going to need all of that. And just make sure that he's got full LB damage and full Demon Human Killer. Gave him Esther's card just because I love having Esther in there. But again, this is all fairly overkill, I think, as you will see. Charlotte just has high fire and dark resists. All right, so whatever gear you have to give her high fire and dark resist. And yeah, that's pretty much all she needs, because pretty much all the magic damage, all the coverable magic damage is going to be fire or dark elemental. All right. Reagan is, yeah, just, whatever you can give him. Probably don't need the ruler's chainmail there. That's probably overkill again, as you will see. And then just whatever gear you have to get him full Demon Human Killers and full LB damage. And that's all he really needs. Give him Chizuru's card there. Okay. Alright, so this is the team that we're going to get this done with. We'll get it done in 3 turns. And like I said, it's a bit of overkill, so if your units are not quite as strong or you don't have all the Clash of Wills gear, it's fine. I think you'll be just fine. Alright, let's get in there and see how we get it done. Alright, first thing we do is Fina summons Bahamut. You have to equip Bahamut to Fina. She can only summon the Esper that's attached to her, right? So just make sure you have Bahamut on your Fina. Reagan is going to do all these like little setup skills here. One of these fills up his LB gauge. So if you have an EX0 Reagan, it's not that one, it must be this one. Yeah, so you want to make sure you use that one to fill up his LB gauge if you have an EX0 Reagan. And then you can just hit the boss with something. Alright, we're going to get dispelled on this turn, so you don't really care about buffs. But you do want to put 1 stack on Knights of Grandshelt's LB. Reagan, honestly, he doesn't need to do anything on this turn. He can just hang out. Yeah, he honestly doesn't need to do anything. I'm just going to hit the boss. Charlotte's going to do her cooldown magic cover to unlock her double cast. That will get dispelled as well. But she'll still have her double cast, and that's what's important. Alright, so there's all the elemental damage, all resisted, we've been dispelled. Originally, when I first went in here, I was like, alright, I'm just going to try and kill this thing as fast as possible, and I was actually like capping Knights of Grandshelt's LB. There is a threshold on the boss, and if you push the threshold, he will put up an undispellable full buff, and it makes it very hard to survive the fight, and it makes it very hard to finish the fight in 5 turns. So the idea is you just want to kind of get everything set up, and you want to do one big burst to finish this guy off. Alright, so now Fina is going to do Delightful Glow for the killers, Brilliant Veil for the light imbue and the amps, and then we'll do do Resolute Arrow to get rid of one of those Mirage stacks. Reagan can do his LB for the Light Imperil. We'll set up Reagan, all right, and we'll do another 2 physical hits to get rid of the Mirage. And we're going to do our magic cover because we've been dispelled. And then, what do I do here? Ah, yeah, we'll do Knights for the magic mitigation. Alright, Knights of Grandshelt will now do his Give It All We've Got. And then you can do, we'll do Profusing Light, I think. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. We'll do Profusing Light. Alright, and that fills up his LB, and he's ready to go for next turn. Alright, and there you go. Oh yeah, also if you push that threshold, he imperils the entire party to fire and dark, and a lot of those uncoverable elemental magic attacks will really, really hurt. So you see, we were able to resist some of that stuff, but yeah, it would hurt if we didn't do that. Alright, now Fina can do her LB, which even if she was EX0, she would have filled up last turn anyways. Okay. Alright, and Reagan can do his LB. Other Reagan is just going to triple Mirror of Equity to chain with Reagan Dark Lineage. Knights of Grandshelt does his LB. Alright, and this should easily finish off the boss. Alright, even if your units aren't quite as strong. So let's see how we'd go here. And there we go. Okay. Yep, I think that's like 2 billion worth of overkill there. I think the boss has 15 billion. Not 100% sure. You'll have to double check that on me. But yeah, we did a fair bit of overkill there. Alright. Yeah, Knights of Grandshelt obviously carrying that one. Alright. And, you know, I didn't use the 150 light amp. So if you went through and took longer than 5 turns, but you still cleared the fight to get that 150% light amp, you could then come back, use that, and do even more damage than you see here with your Knights of Grandshelt. So that's another option. If you're just not able to finish it in 5 turns, but you can still finish the fight without doing any continues to get the 150 amp, then you just come back, you use that 150 amp on turn 2, and you just blow this thing up. All right. So that's how we get all of Rain's crowns, and yeah, I'll be moving on to the Ish crown battles and hopefully get that out to you fairly soon. I will see you on the other side.